Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to another episode of Higurashi. We're on chapter 8. Last time we had a shootout with some mysterious men, though I assume they're probably rival Yakuza with a smaller chance of them being from Tokyo. It was kind of unexpected, but also like kind of awesome. I don't know how or Mion uh chopped so many down. I wouldn't be surprised if she was fucking deflecting bullets, knowing how power scaling goes in this series, and obviously Miyuki popped off with her own gun and stuff. Arakawa made the assumption that Miyuki's Yakuza related, though I think it's probably a better assumption that she's a cop or some sort of law enforcement. Though obviously this is because of our knowledge of her father. If you didn't, then maybe if you didn't know about Akasaka, then maybe it's a fair assessment. And the tips were bat stories to the suicide party, which Otabe was a part of, I assume. And I still think he'd probably just bailed because he decided either got scared about killing himself or yeah, that's about it. Probably not scared. I don't think they just left him behind. Probably ditched like last second. It's pretty fucked up. I'm interested in how the story's gonna tie these plots together. We still don't really know what's up with the A. After last episode, my idea that she's a killer and she killed her boyfriend is kind of weaker now. Now that there's literally like other people here actively trying to kill them. So I then didn't see that coming. I assume they're the rival Yakuza though, that shot Akane in the tip. But it would also make sense if they're part of Tokyo. And, they have some other people just watching over the area in general, because, it's such a big scandal. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'm pretty sure Miyuki's a top and she's just investigating the area. Either because she knew about the Sonozakis and Mion, because it seems like she does know about them, or is it more for continuing her father's work? I don't know what's up with the A. She still kind of weirds me out. Otabe we just explained. I still have no idea what the fuck Shion's doing. I think, like, it's so hard to even theorize because of the ghost Rika scene. It just throws everything awry, so I have no idea. But let's see what chapter 8 is like. Now that we survived the gunfight, killed a bunch of people. Absent-mindedly sitting on the tatami floor slowly calmed me down. My shirt was damp with sweat and humidity. What happened? What the hell happened just a little while ago? Little by little, the gears in my head started spinning. So Nozaki-san was sitting a short distance away, grooming the sword she had just used. Miyuki-chan was sitting next to Tawada-san like nothing had happened at all. Otobe still hadn't come back to his senses from the life-threatening shock we experienced just now. He was breathing erratically, and it looked like he was waiting for someone to say something. Before long, Sonozaki-san was the first to open her mouth. Yeah. Made sense, honestly. As soon as we heard that report, we all fell silent. Hey, come on. Isn't that an awfully terrible thing to just come out and say? I mean, I don't think she's twisting her words. Still joking around after a life or death situation. Good memes. So Nozaki-san's laughter echoed through the quiet assembly hall. I didn't have a clue what Sonozaki-san was laughing about. Had she simply surrendered to despair? Or maybe she actually found enjoyment in the situation, being isolated from the outside world with our lives on the line. Arakawa's not having it. To be fair, that is a very important question. I shouted in frustration, but Sonozaki-san remained silent and calmly listened to what I had to say. Her composure made me all the more irritated. Still frustrated, I tossed out a theory I came up with just a little while ago. I wasn't sure how close I was to the truth, but I played my cards anyway. I was at my limit. All of our cars had vanished, our retreat was cut off, and I wasn't the sort of person who could survive a night of life or death battle. I mean, I actually just believe in Arakawa. I think he's right, but even if he doesn't have quote-unquote evidence, I mean, just say that Mion's a part of a Yakuza family. I think that's enough evidence, honestly. Circumstantial, anyways. Actually dismissed. Based. There wasn't the slightest trace of kindness or gratitude in Sonozaki-san's tone. I don't know why she would be grateful. But yes. What she meant by that was, shut up. But that wasn't enough to convince me. The fear and confusion have driven my patience beyond the limit. And even though I was terrified of Sonozaki-san until a little while ago, I burst out yelling at her. Well, honestly, Haruka always kind of gets on my nerves a bit, but I understand. Man literally just survived a random-ass death shootout thing where he almost got shot, like, a couple times. There you go. Blame Yuki too. This is all fair. She's not. Yuki-chan awkwardly looked down and scratched her head, then finished counting the number of bullets left in the magazine of her handgun and let out a light sigh. She told me she would explain later, but it looked like she had no interest in explaining right now. In fact, she seemed far more interested in determining how many bullets she had left. I do like his streaming voice. I am a fan of the voice actors in Higurashi, and their streams are always it sounds kind of twisted. Can we see this guy's voice actor quickly? I've been gaining an interest in looking up voice actor stuff, mainly from our anime reactions. At the end of every episode, we would look up some of the characters. I'm just gonna look up Arakawa. Whoa! Spoiler. Man's looking kind of fresh. What's his name? Meino Tomoki. Honestly, I didn't think we would get a visual for him, but that's okay. My anime list. Anything cool? He sounds familiar. Kinda. He's gonna be in the new Bleach. But like anything else that I know, at least. I see some names that might be recognizable. He's the main guy of Death Parade. And he's Harada from Diamond Ace. I know those characters. At least. Sorry, random detour, I know, but I'm already on the page, man. I might as well look. The random side character from Haikyuu on the team that like never plays. The new wait, is that the new wait, what the fuck is this? No, that's season 3 of Jigoku Shoujo. I've never seen the poster to that. It's actually a pretty cool poster. Charles from Black Butler. Bodyguard dude. Hold up, guys. Hold up. He's Pain from Naruto? That is a character. Bam, 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 bam. Just enjoy this nice OST. Okay, well, that's about it. Juichi from Yowamushi Pedal. There you go, I educated myself. Maybe I'll recognize him in the future. I do like his voice work though. Out of all the new characters we've seen so far, I think. I mean, Miyuki is more dread, but I think Arakawa has a generally better performance, so maybe it's just Miyuki's just always calm, so you don't get to see that range of emotions like you do with Arakawa, who's always on edge. Also, Mion just pulled a Rena? Hello? So Nozaki-san looked Otobe directly in the eyes as she said that, and when he noticed that, his shoulders slumped and he started to tremble. Not wrong. Let's expose them all, starting with Yae's, since I'm most interested in hers. Then Sonozaki's, because Ghost Rika. Then everyone else, because I think I understand. Besides Arakawa, what secret is Arakawa hiding? Besides that, like, maybe his father that died because of Keiichi's curse or whatever. But, I don't know if that's a secret or not. She knows, dude. So Nozaki-san looked at all of our faces one by one to make sure. Beauty-chan forced a smile as she slid the magazine into the handle of her gun. Bro, what if Yae killed her boyfriend? Even with all the Yakuza? That would be crazy. I still have that vibe, man. I regretted it a little last episode, but I'm holding on to it until the end. Tawada-san put a hand on her chest to still its beating. What is this? What's going on? Was everyone here keeping secrets? Not that I know of. True. Maybe it is his father thing. I didn't know that was a secret or not, but they did talk about it. And that's actually truthful? Yeah, okay. It's the father stuff. Maybe notes from the father too. Or he just was spurred on to research it from his father's unusual death. Right before my eyes, my hands started trembling restlessly. They struggled to maintain their grip on the plastic bottle I was holding. A cold sweat seeped out of my armpits as she said that. Also, I'm still kind of confused about this timeline, because this is a timeline where Mion survives. Well, never mind. Shion survives. And they kind of imply that she might have went crazy. Rana blew up the school, and Keiichi lived, or survived, and cursed Arakawa's dad, and then died. Unless, no, I'm pretty sure they referred to it as a he, which had to be Keiichi. It's like a mishmash, right? So Keiichi wasn't in the school. Maybe it was like the bad ending in Sumi Horoboshi where he went outside and followed the guards and got got separated. Everyone in the school died. Keiichi went crazy. I don't think Shion went crazy. There's nothing for her to do, man. A cold sweat seeped out of my armpits as she said that. What? What was the meaning of that? No way, could she know about that? Maybe he does have something we don't know. How? So Nozaki-san looked me straight in the eyes as I said that, like she was issuing me a challenge. But I couldn't endure it for more than a second, so I dodged it by taking a sip of the tea in my hand. How do you know? Okay. Is that why he's freaking out? Yep. Okay. That's what we knew. He mentioned that in his monologue, but I guess it's not uh, public knowledge. Thunk. I immediately dropped the plastic bottle. How does she know about that? It is weird that she knows about that, though. I guess if Keiichi did survive, she would probably be keeping tabs on him. Makes sense, since they're friends, even if it is Shion. Oh, wait. What? What? Young boy, Keiichi. Daughter, you? I guess? What? I guess if Mion or Shion survived, then the father would try to get an interview from her. That made sense. I didn't put that together. Because I was that girl. It's not that big of a deal, though. Obviously, it's an invasion of privacy, but it's nothing malicious, at least. It's not like a potential murder. Yay. I'm looking at you. Judging by the tone of Sonozaki-san's voice, I got the impression she enjoyed watching me get upset. I looked back at Sonozaki-san with a challenging gaze. But unfortunately, I couldn't disguise my excessively labored breathing. Sonozaki-san's eyes had the stillness of a corpse. I'd never seen a person with eyes like that before. Honestly, it was uncanny. Long ago. Okay, we're getting it. Getting the backstory. Long ago, my father was a reporter for a weekly photo magazine. The fierce competition between rival magazines required intensive investigation in order to survive. And so, in 1983, my father interviewed a boy and a girl who were fortunate enough to survive the Hinamizawa gas disaster. That's the twist in this universe, because in the normal one, he only interviews Keiichi, because he's the only survivor. The boy was the sole survivor of the school bombing incident perpetrated by another female student. Did he, like... I assume it's the Sumi Horoboshi bad end. I doubt he was, like, in the building and somehow survived. I mean, that would definitely fuck up Keiichi. Then the police brought him to the Okinomiya police station to hear his testimony about the incident. He spent the whole night there, which is why he survived the disaster the next day. However, he suffered intense mental trauma from losing his parents, classmates, and the entire village all at once, so the boy was hospitalized shortly thereafter. And though the girl lost her sister in the bombing, yes, Shion, she escaped harm thanks to returning to her home in Okinomiya, but she was just as traumatized as the boy. So my father snuck into their hospitals and heavy-handedly coerced them into telling him their stories. Unethical. But the boy died a few days after his interview. The cause of death was unknown, but I later heard he was killed by the curse. And not only that, but the content of those interviews included the eerie and mysterious predictions, which ultimately gave more weight to the curse theory. Shortly after, my father suffered mental instability. He was dismissed from one case after another, and in the end, he couldn't even write a coherent sentence, so they fired him. After that, he returned to his hometown and spent his days lazing about. Ultimately, he drowned to death just as the girl he interviewed prophesied. Okay, it wasn't Keiichi this time. Maybe, Shion popped off and did some random-ass prophecies. Well, that would also make sense that Shion would look into the family, since she kind of somehow was involved in his death, though I don't think she actually orchestrated anything. That's right, I remember. I'm certain that girl's last name was Sonozaki. So she must be a relative of this Mion Sonozaki. Many things happened after that, but in the end, my grandparents gave me my father's diary and interview materials. I took those bizarre and eerie materials and compiled them into a story about weird supernatural phenomena, then submitted it to the editorial department. That article garnered a surprisingly strong reception, and it had a bit of a surge in popularity once it got posted on some news sites online. The story caused the Hinamizawa occult boom to catch fire and finally earned me a name as an occult writer. Even though my father was the one who worked so hard to gather that intel, in reality I was the one to benefit from it. Yoink. In a sense, I received all the recognition my father should have received, but that outcome couldn't be helped. But what happened to my father when he interviewed those people from Hinamizawa? Who were those survivors my father spoke to? Even if it wasn't part of my job, I absolutely wanted to know. I feel like it would be pretty easy, unless they didn't disclose the names because they were underage. I know Japan has like a policy for that. I thought just for like criminal actions, but maybe it's just a general thing. Because it could like ruin their life if like a bunch of people knew their name and they would constantly be interviewed and questioned and stuff. So I had to figure out what my father was searching for, and that is why I decided to come to Hinamizawa today. I mean, like, sure, it's a secret, but again, it's not like a bad secret. At least. Otabe, how did you even come to that conclusion? Otabe comes to like the most random ass conclusions. Oh, there's people outside. Are they ghosts? You think these yakuza are demons? My heart... What was that? I thought someone just punched us or something. My heart was pulsing like an alarm bell, and no matter how many times I sipped from my oolong tea, my throat quickly dried up. I hadn't said anything. So how did Sonozaki-san know about my father?
川さんのお父さん、一体何をしたんですか？まさかその人ってたたられてもおかしくないようなひどいことをしたんですか？
そんなわけねえだろ。
It's just a little unethical. Happens to all journalists. I turned to Otobe and spat those words out. He wanted to go throwing out accusations? Well, so did I. Oh no. Random Otobe accusations. Caught in the crossfire, man.
それじゃ聞くけど、お前はどうなんだよ。お前だって何か隠してるんじゃねえのか。
僕は。
True. I pointed my spear toward Otobe and let loose. Nervous, indecisive Otobe seemed like the easiest one to attack. Thanks, buddy. I mean, I guess it's not like bad if my theory is correct, but I don't know, man. it's just an awkward thing. We'll see what they say though.
本当か？
本当です。
Dasu? Otobe turned his gaze downward and cut off the conversation, but it was clear to all of us that he was putting on an act.
何ですか？
それじゃあ聞くけど、これは何だい
？Sonozaki-san thrust a single card right up to the tip of Otobe's nose, and it looked like it was a cash card. What? Otobe gasped and his eyes opened wide. Then he quickly checked his back pocket and turned toward the cash card once more. Cash card isn't, what, credit card or debit card? I guess. Otobe's face was starting to develop a twitch. Back pocket. I don't know where this is going. Did he steal from the corp? Oh, maybe he wasn't. No, it was his friends though. We clearly saw in the flashback. Did he like steal from them and like left? That would actually be super fucked up. That would actually be. Oh my god! Imagine if he's a fucking scammer. Join the suicide party. Pretend to like join in, and then once they die, steal their money. Wow. That's actually like one of the most scummy things I've ever heard of. I don't know if it's exactly like that, but that's what it's seeming like. Oh my god. Yoink their card! Chiaki Hori. That was... Chiaki. That was the Oda... That was the... Oh no, dude. That was the CEO woman. That became CEO but was failing at it or something. Oh my god, dude. That's kind of fucked up, Oda. You're gonna have to defend yourself here. It's kind of, like, funny in a bad way, though. Otobe nervously fidgeted as he gazed at the card. He reminded me of a small animal standing face to face with its natural predator.
Oi, Otobe.
Otobe's face turned completely pale. His heart was beating so hard it felt like I could hear it from the seat next to him. Sonozaki-san continued staring Otobe directly in the eyes and didn't look away for even a moment. Oh boy, you're getting roasted. You can dodge Arakawa's roast, but Shion's gonna get ya. Well, I actually thought, yeah, I actually did think it was more likely Otobe broke the phone.
乙部君だよね。
It was either Otobe or Shion just from the timing alone, possible. But I thought it was more Otobe. Bit by bit, Miyuki-chan continued her verbal assault. Otobe reacted sharply and looked up after each comment.
どうして乙部君の携帯だけ壊されたのかなってずっと気になってたんだけど、それは乙部君のだけ通じるからだよね。そういうことでいいんだよね。
そうだと思います。
それじゃあちょっと聞きたいんだけど、乙部君の携帯本当に通じたのかな。
Wait, he lied about that? Oh,
通じましたよ。
because in the phone call he did, he just was able to mention the suicide victims. So if they did manage to leave in the morning, everyone else would think that Otobe handled the suicide victim problem. And obviously he wants to leave them out there the longest if he is a scammer so he can get the money properly out of the credit card. Because if they confirm she's dead, they would lock the accounts or at least like properly check them. So, oh my god, dude.
何言ってるんですか。
Otobe, no, dude. I did not foresee this.
あの時警察と話したの。
I thought you just chickened out because that was your nature.
でもちょっと変じゃない？だって園崎さんの携帯と乙部君の携帯
That is true. Same motto.
同じ機種なのにどうして乙部君のだけが通じるの？
知りませんよ。それは個体差ってやつじゃないですか。僕に言われてもそんな。
そうなの。でも本当にそんなことってあるのかな。
Nope. Otobe's lips were quivering. Miyuki-chan continued putting pressure on Otobe. Her ruthless assault had even me shivering. Otobe did his best to pretend he was still calm, but his attempt was woefully unsuccessful. His labored breathing echoed through the entire assembly room, filling the surrounding area with a tense atmosphere.
個体差はあると思いますよ。
Based. I'm surprised he's holding out this long.
だって
Roasted by 3 sides. The triangle roast.
だってさっきは確かに通じたんです。
Hit him with the how would you know anyways, Miyuki? I'm the one who physically checked. It's your word against mine.
たまたまアンテナが立ったんですよ。僕にだってなんで通じたのかわかんないですけど。
Miyuki-chan took a deep breath. My initial impression of Miyuki-chan was as a lively, earnest cute girl was all but gone. Replaced with that was a visage of a bird of prey stalking a small defenseless animal.
そういうこともあるのかもしれない。
ですよね。だから別に変でもなんでも。
Otobe's forced smile had a light twitch to it. He must have misunderstood what Miyuki-chan was saying and believed she was convinced. Or maybe he's trying to tell himself that? However, Miyuki-chan wasn't about to let Otobe escape. In fact, she was luring him to the final stage.
ああ、そうそう。一ついいことを教えてあげる。この村全域で県外なのよ。
Owned? You couldn't connect even if you wanted to? I guess that's a trump card that would also break my argument for Otobe.
こんな無人の村に中継機なんていらないもの。
And back then there wasn't cell phones, so they wouldn't have it built up anyways.
この村に元からあった中継機が反応したなんて言い訳はできないよ。
Because the mountain dogs fucked them all up.
ここが封鎖されたのが昭和50
Yeah, I was saying, cell phones weren't even a thing, dude.
その頃には携帯なんて使っている村人はいなかった。
Or maybe they're a thing, just not accessible to everyone.
そんな。そ こまで最初から知ってたんなら。
正直に言ってくれるのを待ってたから。追い込むのって好きじゃないの。本当はね。
But like, I don't know, man. Even though it's like super strummy, if it's going the way I think it is, like, it's not really our business. Like, it doesn't really hurt any of us. Unless these are fucking assassins after the sea. No, that'd be hilarious, but I doubt that's true.
でももうそんな悠長なことは
After
言
the
えないな。
Mune?
じゃあもう一度確認します。電話通じてなかったんだよね。
Honestly, like, if Otobe really doesn't want to speak, just say, I will not speak, and just stay quiet. That would be really funny.
はい。
I thought they would, like, force him. That was all Otobe could say in response. Otobe dejectedly bowed his head. That gesture was an admission of defeat. Defeat?
すみませんでした。
Oh no. Otobe bat story about to drop.
僕嘘をついてました。携帯は反町さんの言う通り僕のも繋がりませんでした。繋がってるふりをしていただけです。
それじゃ通報したってのは。
嘘です。電話が通じているふりをしたんです。
Otobe continued looking down as he said that, and thanks to that, his face looked like a misbehaving child.
通報したってのがそもそも嘘なんです。ここを乗り切ればなんとかできるって。
おいおい、ちょっと待てよ。それじゃそのキャッシュカードは本当にお前が盗んだもんなのか。
はい。
Yep.
お前。
すみませんでした。
Maybe I'm being mean though. Maybe it was. Oh, you know what it could be? Maybe he's not like a scammer. Maybe during the suicide he found out that she's rich and he's like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm not with the money. Maybe it's an opportunity steal instead of a planned steal, which makes it kind of better.
せめて
Yeah,
お金を下ろすまでは
that's what I was thinking too.
警察に知られたくなくて。
He's using the call as a cover so people don't worry about the suicide victims.
だから携帯を壊したってのか。
はい。僕の携帯も繋がらないってことをバレるのが怖くなって。それでもう隠し通せないと思って。
隠しているのはそれだけじゃないでしょ。キャッシュカードをどこで盗んだの。もう隠し事はやめようよ。
Okay, this we're all coming clean. Otobe dropped even further down as Miki-chan asked that in a scathing tone. He dropped more and more until he couldn't go any further.
乙部、全部話しちまいなよ。あんたがどうしてそんなにビクビク怯えてばっかりなのかさ。
それは僕は
After a long pause, Otobe started saying I'm sorry over and over. Uh-oh. The sound echoed miserably here and there with some sobbing mixed in.
ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。
だから何がごめんなさいなんだよ。
僕は最低です。
It is pretty bad.
ダメなやつなんです。
Again, it's not like it's harming any of us, so we technically don't even need to know about it, but it is really bad. Huge tears started accumulating in Otobe's eyes and spilling to the ground. So Nozaki-san gently stroked his trembling shoulder, then urged him on in a voice filled with tenderness as deep as the ocean.
何があったか話してごらんよ。
はい。僕が東京に出てきたのは去年の春でした。
Backstory. This is the backstory chapter. Otobe quietly began talking about his past. Okay. I never thought of myself as the kind of person who would stay in the countryside forever. My father was a government worker and my mother was a housewife. Everyone in the area was acquainted with everyone else. Amidst their strict values and well-defined human relationships, there's one value that was absolutely essential to survival: cooperation. I was worried I'd spend the rest of my life in such a tiny world, so I felt desperate. I couldn't see anything in my future. No dreams to aspire to. My father tried to get me a job at a local company, but I hated it. I figured I could probably work things out if I went to Tokyo. So I poured my heart and soul into studying, then took an entrance exam for a university in Tokyo.
アキラ、東京なんか行ったってあんたみたいな田舎者は相手にされないよ。地元で地道に働いて真面目なお嫁さんを見つけて可愛い孫をいっぱい作って父さんを喜ばせて
I
やんな。
understand though. Everyone has dreams to reach greater heights. Also, it's a very common trope of people in the countryside wanting to move to a bigger city. Probably because it's just like true in general. Obviously, like some people are satisfied, but some people, if you do want to become greater in life, you probably gotta move. Unless, I mean, I don't know. It's just like a story you hear a lot.
そういう生き方って僕には向いてないと思うんだ。
アキラ、
決めたんだ。受かったら僕、東京の大学に進学する。もしも受かんなかったら、その時は地元で母さんの言う通りにするからさ。
And then I got accepted. It was some university I never heard of, but it was a college in Tokyo, so that was good enough for me.
受かったんなら母さんは応援するよ。しっかりやってきなさいよ。
Even though I expected my mother to be opposed, for some reason she was pleased. Although I intended to work to pay my tuition, my mother talked to my father about it, and in the end they decided to pay for my tuition and living expenses.
しっかり勉強してこい。一生に一度くらい地元を離れてみるのもいいかもしれんしな。
To be honest, I couldn't believe my father would say something like that. But they had a good reason for supporting me. I understood that. My parents were convinced I'd return to the countryside in the future. Traveling to Tokyo was just a momentary event, just a little longer than a vacation. That way of thinking was what allowed them to send me off. The money my parents gave me was like a chain shackled to my ankle, a debt to be repaid. They saw it as an investment so that I'd be forced to return to the countryside right away if they were ever to take it away. But I wouldn't stand for that. I had no intention of ever going back there. Jesus. I intended to plant my roots in Tokyo once I got out of college.
アキラ、しっかり勉強してくるのよ。早く一人前になって父さんに楽をさせてやんなさいよ。
今まで世話になりました。母さん、元気で。
アキラ、何堅苦しいこと言ってんのよ。とにかく東京はいろいろ大変だろうけど頑張んなさいよ。
言われなくても頑張るよ。じゃあね、母さん。
Mom came all the way to the local station to see me off, but I totally sent her away. The countryside, my parents, I cast them all aside. I took the first step towards my ambition. Everything in Tokyo felt fresh. Unlike high school, I didn't have to go to class in the morning. They offered lectures in the afternoon and the evening, and it was easy to skip class and have a classmate answer the roll call in my place. Nice. This city was nothing like how my parents complained about it. Instead, it was full of fashionably dressed girls and classmates who felt far more worldly than me. And there were trendy shops and amusement districts. Man's living life. Though I didn't have to pay for tuition, I did start working a part-time job to help cover my living expenses. Every day, I'd wake up around noon and spend some time at the university, then work my part-time job until the evening. My coworkers taught me all kinds of things: how to drink, how to dance at clubs, how to ask girls out. After spending time with them, I started to develop an inferiority complex compared to my classmates. I felt like a child. My coworkers introduced me to all kinds of girls. Shortly after starting college, I began going out with a girl living in a luxury apartment complex in Oyama. She had a long, slender neck like a giraffe. Excuse me? Is that a compliment? I mean, I guess, yeah, long necks is kind of fashionable, I think. Obviously not like super long necks like a giraffe. That's just horror. A horror monster. But I can see it, actually. She dressed to match cutting-edge trends and wore lots of expensive accessories. She felt like a real Tokyo girl, and I liked that about her. But she was an expensive girl. She worked at a cabaret club, so she brought in far more income than me, but she never opened her wallet for anything. Meals and entertainment were always on me. I believe that's a man's responsibility. Oh boy. I mean, again, old time Japan, but that's just... I mean, they're dating, I guess. But I don't know. I wouldn't do that. If I was dating someone that was like making way more than me, I'm like, yeah, you can treat me once in a while, please. Shopping was one of her favorite pastimes, so I'd buy something for her anytime we went anywhere together. I bought her all kinds of matching clothes. I was surprised to learn they even made t-shirts that cost 50,000 yen a piece. It's like $500. Or the basic yen drop. Actually, the yen has been like equalized into the Canadian dollar recently. My dad was talking about it. It's a great time to buy a yen if you're Canadian. So in current days, current time right now, 50,000 yen to CAD is $474. Yeah, that's amazing. If he did this a couple years ago, like when I went to Japan, it would have been like, I wouldn't be surprised if it was in the 600s. And she bought those. Anyways, I've never bought a $400 t-shirt. The most I spent was like in the 100s, but I barely do that even. And she bought those expensive t-shirts without a second thought. She said she wanted me to wear it, so I bought one for myself too. I thought about how these flimsy t-shirts could cost 50,000, and my heart ached to know that entire week's worth of pay would go into a single t-shirt. That's unlucky. The store clerk recommended some cool looking clothes that matched the t-shirt, so I even bought some jeans and a sweater to go along with it. Dude, my guy's down way too bad. Though I think he's like more in love with what this girl represents. Like this lifestyle that he's always yearned for. At least that's what it's reading like, since we don't really know the girl. Besides, she's the personification of what Otebe views people in Tokyo are like. The ideal Tokyo person. When we all know the ideal Tokyo person is Tatana. Since my feet were in the door, I bought some matching boots too. Combined with the jeans, t-shirt, and sweater, it came to a total of nearly 300,000 yen. Holy shit. When I put out my wallet to pay for all those clothes, I noticed it looked shabby too, so she and I went to a discount shop and bought a brand name leather wallet. Oh my god. And then I noticed how much my worn out cheap watch illustrated my meager upbringing. I was prepared to dive headfirst by that point, so I bought a brand name watch from a pawn shop. Oh no, dude. I felt 2 or 3 times as cool as any time I was around her. I felt like I was being reborn, and it felt good. I was no longer the pathetic Akira Otabe who was harassed by his friends and always fought with his parents. If you're being harassed by your friends, I don't know if they're your friends. I was a completely new Akira Otabe, full of youthful freedom, who took cute girls in cool clothes out in the constantly changing world of Tokyo. That's what I wanted to be. I ended up going to school less and less often. I stopped talking to my classmates and spent more time with my co-workers. And when I did occasionally go to class, I had no idea what any of it meant, and I no longer had friends who asked questions. I didn't enter college to study in the first place. So, I finally stopped going to school at all. However, living above my means was really hard. No matter how much I worked, how much I spent on clothes, how much I treated myself to luxurious meals, and kept up my appearances, somewhere deep down I still felt empty. In order to fill that void, I kept spending time with my girlfriend and I kept earning money at my part-time job. In order to be the Akira Otabe I wanted to be, I needed money. It didn't take long before I started taking out small loans to get money for these activities. That's just horrible. Taking loans not to invest but to just spend on shopping and stuff is like the worst idea I've ever heard. He's addicted though. He's addicted to a high lifestyle. That's one of the worst things to be addicted to be honest. My parents transferred money each month to pay for rent, but I started using that to pay the debts that were piling up left and right. Okay, I get it. I think I get this story. He was actually trying to kill himself from the debts, and he probably felt guilty. He was probably like, the parents didn't know this was happening too, so he was just stealing their money also. And then when he learned that the CEO wife was rich, he saw that as an opportunity not to die and just steal her money. Which is, it's still pretty, I mean, it's all his fault. It's like, you can't really excuse him because this is his fault, but at least I understand it, and he's not doing it. The question is, would he, like, just continue using that money to live his lifestyle, or would he actually, like, has he learned from the experience? Either way, it's still bad, but morally, but one's way better than just going back to what he's doing right now. I even borrowed money to repay my debts. Classic move. It's just not good. It literally doesn't make sense. It's freaking what's his name? It's been too long, man. I forgot Satoko's Tepe. It's Tepe and Rena scam. It's actually this similar scam. Hey, you can't pay off this loan. Take this loan from another loan company, and you know, at least you won't get this scary looking Tepe guy after you. You're just at freaking loan shards, which probably has ties to the Yakuza. 1 million yen with no collateral. That's how they get you, man. That's how they get you, man. I've never taken a loan besides student loans for uni, which I'd like paid off right away, so. I'm loan free, man. I don't really have a lot of bills right now though, so. The advantages of living with your parents. Less freedom, but so much beneficial stuff. Invited by those sweet words, I turned to street money and black market lending. The compound interest continued to accumulate and the outcome was inevitable. I fled the apartment I was living in under the cover of the night. I lost contact with my girlfriend right about that time, around that time. Eventually, collection agents started coming to my school and part-time job, so I had no choice but to find a new job. I cycled through several jobs after that. I couldn't work in a single place for long, or the collection agents would find me. I didn't have a place to call my own, so I couldn't make friends at work either. Nobody was interested in talking to a debt-ridden person like me in the first place. But even if I worked morning until night and only spent the rest of my time sleeping, I couldn't raise more than 300,000 yen in a month, and there was nothing I could do to keep up with the interest compounding each month, much less make payments toward the principal. No matter how hard I worked, and even with a wage increase of 10 yen per 10 yen per hour, it did little to reduce my debt. So I calculated how long it would take to repay my debt living like this. 70 years, oh my god. Actually fucked. I couldn't go back to college, I wasn't able to attend a single class, so I couldn't get any credit. If I leave the university, I won't be able to find a job. It's not impossible to get a proper job as a high school graduate, but it had already been so long that I graduated that I couldn't do it. There's no way to explain that gap after entering college. And even if I could get a real job, the election agents would show up there and ruin it soon enough. I couldn't talk to my parents. My parents would be shocked, outraged, and abusive. In the end, they'd forsake me. My father would beat me and my mother would coldly watch. They'd shout, "We believed in you," with tears in their eyes. Who knows? Because he probably knows his parents better, but also, you did, rob them pretending to go to school. It's actually, super fucked up. But he's just, to be fair, he is young. It's a kid. I can see kids making these mistakes. It's just, it's hard to repay this. And then, all motivation for stealing the money. But it's all just fucked up, man. It was plain to see what would happen back at home. I didn't want to go back to the countryside. In other words, I had no choice but to live my life jumping between part-time jobs, paying just 800 yen per hour. And I'll spend an entire lifetime trying to repay a debt that can't be repaid in a lifetime. That crushing sense of vain effort caused me to give up on working altogether. What awaited me afterwards was a life of peering out the shut curtains of my tiny 4.5 tatami-sized apartment to make sure there weren't any collection agents between here and the convenience store 30 meters away. I couldn't go shopping if collection agents were out there. I'd keep quiet and spend the rest of the day at home. And traveling more than 30 meters away was out of the question. There's a risk I'd get kidnapped if the collection agents found me. I even hesitated to step out of my apartment to take the trash out, in fear of the collection agents wandering around. Then I finally realized my life had reached a deadlock. I still had the same cell phone number, but I had no desire to check the incoming messages. More than 20 messages arrived on the answering machine every day. Oh no, dude. Pay with your life. Oh, that's so fucked up. Beep. Beep.
とりあえずさ、連絡くれない？いい稼ぎ先紹介するよ。黙って言う通りにしてくれるだけで、うちの利子はチャラになるからさ。
Oh no, dude. Only the interest. Beep. Hello, Tokyo girl? That was my girlfriend's voice.
久しぶりにアキラが住んでたマンションに行ってみたけど、なんか怖い人がうろうろしてて全然近寄れないよ。どうなってんの?
I didn't detect a hint of concern about me in her voice. I mean, she did seem super materialistic. She probably found a new boyfriend after she got sick of me, but she got sick of him too, and that's why she's calling me. I had a feeling that was the case. Friends are disposable. I remember her saying that once before. Okay, that's a rad airing if I've ever heard one. If your loved one says that, and I assume like girlfriend or boyfriend, obviously it's a little different if it's your wife, or husband, but I don't know. Kind of shows a judge of character if they say that. In most circumstances. She does that with people when they're convenient for her, and replaces them as soon as they become inconvenient. According to her, we live in an ever-changing era, so there's no way to know who might drop out of your life or when.